So community is hard. There I've said it. That is the presentation. That's really it. Thanks for having me. I think I've pretty much answered everybody's questions here. I'm Jeremy Meiss. You can find me on the Twitters at I am Jerdog, and we'll skip to Q&A. Just joking here. Of course, that's not just it, but we know that community is hard. Building developer communities, it's hard work. It's long hours of looking at stats, metrics, worrying about what you're building is sustainable, or heck, if it's even interesting enough. It's really putting yourself out there in every interaction, everything you do, from social media to blog posts to community threads and answers to meetups and conference talks and virtual talks and all the prep for that. And then the in-person, is that starting to come back? Like, it's playing the long game of community growth and member life cycle, which can take years off of your mental stability. You should have known me before I started doing developer community work. Slightly tongue in cheek there, but and I love doing it. I love all of it. Maybe not all of the aspects of what I just said, but it's what I love doing for my job. I love working with developer communities. Like I said, my name is Jeremy Meiss. I'm the director of DevRel at Circle CI. You can, like I said, find me on the Twitters at I am Jerdog, and then trying to use the polywork. So you can find me on timeline.jerdog.me, and then eventually I'll get that updated. But all right. So I mentioned how how much hard work it is to build communities. And with that acknowledgement, it's kind of like, you kind of have to ask yourself, why would you ever try and make it that much harder on yourself by building your community in a bubble? Why position yourself on an island, kind of staring at Wilson as you're trying to build this thing, to get it started, or even just to come in and take it and build from there. Building developer communities requires you to function very much like the very developers that you're building your community for. Developers exist in, we all know, in interconnected communities due to the particular software technology they might develop with or for. Their hobbies, stage in life they are, etc. So I have a few examples of how this kind of plays out. If you look here, so I use the Chrome extension Waffleizer to look at different websites. And so the developers for, GitHub website, or Microsoft.com, or even GitLab.com, they're using a variety of different frameworks, different technologies, all of which have different communities associated with them, just to build the thing that they're doing. So they have to kind of exist in a lot of different communities if they're looking for help, or if they're looking to build more knowledge. They're hitting different spaces inside different communities. We've all kind of seen the CNCF landscape. I can't even zoom in on all that because it's massive. There's so many communities that are there. But if you're going to be working in DevOps, you're working in cloud native, whatever that might be, you come in contact with multiple different communities, or the developers that are in your community are coming in contact with lots of different communities. So because of these different landscapes, it makes sense to grow a community, especially when you're starting from scratch, by collaborating with others. So it's story time. I'll try and relate the story relatively pretty quickly. But at a past job, I worked and I was responsible for kind of building a community from scratch. It was kind of a niche product to some extent that was trying to get out to enterprise. And because I hadn't really worked with enterprises other than being in them before, it was important to really kind of get a feel for you should do this with all your communities, get a feel for who's in that community. And so I started looking and seeing, who was using our product at the time, and then what were the different areas that they were in. And what continued to find was these little segments of, these are the areas of the tech that we should be kind of collaborating with. And so I wanted to start building out some, whether it be content, I was looking at doing some meetups and doing a variety of things with different other community builders and other teams and other companies to try and build it. And one of the ways that also saw that is there was a conference that was happening, and it was the people that were attending that conference. And while it was an open source conference, and the product I was with was not really an open source product, the all those that were attending were our target audience. And so my thing was, all right, I'm going to go. I've been accepted to speak. Everything's going to be paid for, but I'm going to go there and I'm going to jump in and speak about about communities, and then build relationships with developers that are there, because I want them to use our product. I want them to understand that, hey, here's what we do and here's how we can work with this technology and grow. Seems like that would make sense. It did not make sense to the decision makers that I reported to, and because that particular technology was not something that was identified by my manager as something that would make sense, was not able to do that. And in multiple instances, whenever tried to build those communities and build our community and grow it, ran into a lot of brick walls around kind of the same thing as like, well, that doesn't make sense, so we shouldn't do it. And so I've kind of put together, some reasons of why collaboration is a good thing for you. And one thing that was, learned over the years and tried to apply and just ran into those brick walls of trying to convince the people that were the decision makers that I had to report to of why collaboration was good, and been able to, hopefully provide you with some ammunition, probably not some good ways and some good tools that you can use to collaborate with others and get your decision makers, people above you, to kind of sign on to that. So reasons to collaborate or why you should play well with others. So the first one is problem solving and learning. It's better together. We all learn, I feel, and I've seen it over and over, not learning in a vacuum. When you're able to learn with others, you learn more about what is important for them, and you can share what's important for you, and you can solve problems. You can learn. It happens better together. You can also bring people and companies together. Again, it's just these different ideas make a community stronger and make a company stronger when you bring in that diversity of thought and diversity of idea and diversity of background, and even diversity of technology can help bring people and communities and companies together. Also opens lots of new opportunities. It's been my experience over the years working with different communities and building those collaboration with them, between different companies and between different, projects, is that you see those opportunities, and often they present themselves that you're able to, hey, this was not something we anticipated, but we're going to jump into it. We're going to go and we're going to, really try and, serve not only those that are in ours, but we can this other community and really grow together. It also helps to keep your community members around, even those that look as disgruntled as these ostriches, which I think those are ostriches, not emus, but these flightless birds. It's important. It's important to, as you're, showing that your technology or your product or whatever it is that your community is about works well with others and works with other things that your community is using, helps to keep those people in your community as well, and it can help grow that and make sure that whatever you're doing kind of reinforces the viability of your community, and then gives you, again, back to the others, more opportunity to grow and seek new opportunities. So it also can make you more efficient. It's never you can always go farther with two people, and you can carry more. You can do a lot more with when you have more people than if you're just trying to do everything yourself. If you're just trying to get in impact within your community, guaranteed you're going to miss things and you're going to miss opportunities to make everyone better. And so it's collaboration is extremely important, makes you more efficient. All right, so some ways to kind of get started. The first way to start collaborating is, it starts by first taking stock of the developers that are in your community and the tech you're using. Going back to that look, the slide that had the different technologies for each of the websites. Figure out who's in your community, what tech are they using, even along with what the core tech within your company is, what you might be using to deliver your product or service. Get all of that, put it all up on a screen and on a board, and really get a landscape for where all of the people are in your community. And then once you've identified that different tech that's in use by your company and those who do or could use your product, make those different tech and communities collide. I love watching this GIF. For lack of a better term, get them to collide. Get involved in each of those communities, and that's not just getting where you are just self-serving with it. Get involved by listening and seeing where are the ways that you can help serve them and provide something of value to them. And so there's a number of different ways that you can kind of get involved in these other communities. Attend, meet people, go to, it's often really valuable just to sit and listen. In fact, that's probably the most valuable thing. Is just sit there and listen to what they're saying, listen to what they're doing. You can go to some, work on doing some meetups together, speak at respective community conferences, looking at, ways that you can share content, blogs and samples, tutorials from another community, and partner to get both content on each. Do live streams together. We've seen that over the last, 18 to 20 months of a rise in these live streams between different companies. That's another extremely important option. And then there's, I put the multiple dots, whatever that's called when you put multiple dots together, but there's more where that came from. There's plenty. These are some really great ways, I think, to get started, though. In doing those things, they really, I found, raise the awareness of your brand, but it also shows, both in both of the communities, both yours and the other one that you're starting to try and collaborate with, how your tech and how your community and what you're doing is not on an island. It works with many different things they might already have in play in their specific environments. It also, can open doors that previously were not available, and then thus boost your community value. If you're looking to try, as a company, you're looking to try and get into areas where you can be of service in different communities. If you're able to build those relationships, it opens up those doors, and then, like I said, you can add that value and brings it back to you, and you can continue this cycle. It also it really helps sharpen your skills in building collaborative materials. That's everything from learning how to use your product better to how your product works with other things as well. It really sharpens your skills as you build out more collaboration. It benefits both. And then if all of these things aren't happening by omission or a lack of support from upper management, you are severely limiting the reach of your community, and you run the very real risk of your community becoming one-dimensional, limits your impact. And once that happens, it is only a matter of time before your community becomes stale, and you'll get that dreaded question of like, well, what's the ROI on that thing, or what's the ROI of even having a community team? So it's important to get ahead of that and really start to figure out your community. So back to that original story, if your attempts to collaborate, get involved with other communities are thwarted or discouraged at every opportunity you try and do them in, there are a few things that you can do. First one is, use competitors as examples. Look at what others have done, especially the competitors, because the reality is that many decisions in business come down to the bottom line. And if your competitor is doing collaboration with other teams or other companies or other projects, other communities, chances are you should be doing that as well. The other thing, get buy-in from other groups. Look at other groups within your company. Maybe get with the product team, get with the engineering team. get their take on some of the things you want to do. And often I've seen this happen where, getting your engineering team that says, "Oh yeah, we think this is a great idea. We'd love to collaborate with, this other project because we use their tool. Maybe we use Angular and we should work with them." Uh, Getting that buy-in can also kind of smooth some of the hesitations that your management might have about working with others. Um, Another is kind of make sure, and you should always be doing this regardless, but make sure that whatever activity, the collaboration activity you're trying to do, make sure it tracks to your OKRs, the company bottom line, and be explicit with it. Come back with well, if I can't do this, I'm not going to be able to hit this OKR or our company's bottom line. Be subversive. Just go do it. The old saying is, sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. You might just have to go and just do it and then come back with, "Hey, I did this. Here's our reward. Here's what we got. And we need to do more of this." And then, you might just need to collaborate with your network for something different. Right now, there's a lot of opportunity out there. I'm not one to say go find a new job, but there does come a time where you might just have to start looking and seeing where there's other opportunities and use your collaboration skills for that. So one final point I do want to make before getting to the end here is that any attempt that you want, any attempt at collaboration with another company or another community or project, it has to be win-win. You've got to be genuine on this. If you aren't, it's going to be obvious. Both the communities and in other companies are, they're going to know that it was really more one-sided, and it's not going to go well. Everyone talks. We all, especially within DevRel community, we talk to each other. And so I'd even say that as you begin to do all these and look for new opportunities, make sure the other community or company wins more than you do, and build that rapport and build that trust so you can go from there. All right, so that is it. I know I've gone on over a minute or two, but you can find me. I am JerDog. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Dev2. I need to write some more. Also, would love to hear from you on any feedback. I have some swag for you as well. So find me on circle.ci/Jeremy and let me know what you thought. Any questions? I'd love to answer those if we don't get them to Q&A. Thank you.